for it.
Yep. Peter's done all the programming.
Not tomorrow.
Well, I hope it'll be ready tomorrow, and we'll be testing it tomorrow to go live on Friday. That's certainly the objective.
10 minutes before the end of the world.
10 minutes, so we're going to have to get going.
We can celebrate the end of the world together.
Yeah. So we are very much working on the backup panel. We're also coming up. You've done some nice stuff with the website to sort of funk it up slightly, so that people can choose to look at either the updates that we've given or your top secret Tim's
project,
Tim's art, not to talk about quite yet, or indeed Tony's blog, or all the other links, so that everything is a repository for all the information in one place, and then you can jump off to your own backup panel, and etc. etc. So we're hoping that that'll be Friday, because what we do need to say is that everyone's going on holiday next week, and so I'm afraid we're not going to be able to answer questions and things unless Nina and her team are working away like little gnomes over Christmas.
Always like little gnomes.
Well, little gnomes as in over Christmas, because it's only Santa's little gnomes that work over Christmas. That was quite rude, wasn't it? It wasn't meant to be rude. Am I managing to back out of it all right? Dear, oh dear. Anyway, so forgive us for the fact that we won't be responding all that much over the Christmas week.
Well, if we get art question in, because I'm going to have to make it like Ezio out the door.
Okay.
To catch a bus.
What's the next art question? You've been here under false pretenses, haven't you?
Sorry. Next question. Next question is, where is Broken Sword 5 set in the timeline?
That's not really an art question, is it? But I'll answer it quickly. And the answer is that the timeline doesn't really exist. I very much took my inspiration from the Tintin books. I love the fact that in Tintin he doesn't get older. You do reference, in later books you reference what went before, but time has stood still. None of the characters get older. And while later games do reference earlier ones, it's all in this sort of static environment. So no, it's not. It doesn't really. Time doesn't really move on. Time is frozen.
Okay. There's no. I don't think there's any last-minute art questions. Just one about a parallel universe. I don't know what they're talking about.
What parallel universe do we all live in? Because we're absolutely insane, I think is probably the question.
Oh, there we go. Can they get the image outside the cafe in high resolution as a wallpaper for Christmas?
It's not in colour, but...
Yeah, when I said it was being coloured, I meant it's only just being coloured.
It's not finished, it's nowhere near finished in colour.
Tim, you're going to get Tim's present, which is
That'll
very
be
similar
good.
to that, and it's very cool, and that you're going to get for Christmas.
Yeah.
So, as a wallpaper, I think the answer is no, because we haven't coloured it, so really sorry, it's a great idea.
Maybe a gallery as a wallpaper with a character in there or something.
I think this is probably a conversation to have tomorrow morning, don't you?
Watch this space.
I think you guys wanted to head off now to catch a bus.
It's only to catch a bus.
Yeah, just to catch a bus. We would stay longer.
Don't get our car locked in at the bus station.
Well, look, actually, tell you what. Before you go, I know it's not directly relevant, but do you want to just talk about how on earth you managed to get locked into a graveyard?
What?
What time is it?
It's a story.
Oh my gosh.
This was
so you're going to start?
a few weeks back. It was Remembrance Sunday. We went to my grandfather's grave, which is in Dewsbury, about an hour south from Yorkshire. And we were going south, visiting the grave en route to Heathrow Airport to catch a flight to Los Angeles in about 6 hours' time. And literally we're at the graveyard, and there's a sign on the gate that as you drive in it says we're opening from dawn until dusk. And in what century do you live in where we go by dawn until dusk? But whatever, we went and we put some flowers on Grandad's grave, and then when we went to drive out to leave, that we couldn't get out, the gates were locked. Yeah. And Tim was like, that's alright, I'll get out, I'll go and open the gate, and the gate has been bolted shut, we cannot get out. And we were just like, hold on a second, the gate is locked, and we drove around this cemetery, which is a very run down, very Tim Burton-esque, like horrible cemetery. It's not a nice place. And it's like, it's probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's starting to get dark. And literally, Tim's getting frantic here because every set of gates that we went to, they're all completely bolted shut. I called the police. I looked up on Google on my phone. I called the police, like the local police department, to help us. And the only comment that they came up with was, had I called the number on the gate? Yes, of course I've called the numbers on the gate for the council, and of course council aren't answering. And they're like, oh, well, we'll try Googling for some help for you. Google it. Well, I googled you. And well, anyway, we frantically drove around for a couple of hours. Tim threatening to get bolt cutters to the gates, even though he has no bolt cutters. But
I'll rectify that.
But
did you think, what would George do?
Yeah,
many a time.
I looked in the back of my car and just wasn't anything. There was a de-icer, but I don't think that was going to do anything.
Well, it would do in some of our competitors.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, it was just to say that we drove around. We had to dodge graves, which Tim very nearly drove into on many times, like dug out graves, which were waiting for the next coffin to be laid in the next day. And literally, we were there for about 2 hours, and the police were no good. And literally, which was quite fascinating, walking past my grandfather's grave, there were a couple of, I think, Sikhs, Muslim type guys in like the full get-up, and literally, I was like, are they ghosts? We went over and I said, excuse me, can you help us? And they looked at us, it's like, how have you got your car in here? It's locked. It's like, we're locked in. And very luckily, they just pointed out is that there's a gap in the wall, right around the corner, there's a gap in the wall. If you're a skilled driver, you might be able to get your car through there. But it was all bollarded off, and it wasn't a space for cars. But literally, Tim turned the car into the Batmobile and somehow managed to squeeze it through, wing mirrors in, and out we zipped. Yeah. And I called the police when we're on our way 2 hours later, just to say, you don't need to come out and rescue us now, that we'll be fine. And the only comment that they could give us was, have we marked the walls at all? Have we damaged the fence in any way?
Not that we were mugged or...
No, the fact that, I could have been a young girl on my own, stuck in a graveyard overnight, and this place is pitch black, and there's just little fairy lights. It's quite strange. Has anyone ever been in a graveyard, when it's pitch black? But all the graves tend to light up, there's all little fairy lights, and it's an experience. But luckily we managed to just get to Heathrow on time to catch our flight.
Experience.
No. Well, if you don't want a repeat of the experience, you probably need to go
you probably do.
Otherwise we'll be flipping revolution.
It'll be bolt cutters, liquid nitrogen, and anything else that will...
I'll tell you what, you use Tori's hair clip. Hair clips are wonderful for picking locks.
Yeah. Definitely.
Better start tying my hair back.
I'm sure if I took my car apart, I'll be fine there, but I'll be able to find something that has the leverage to break it.
But then we'll be stuck and
but then the car would not be there. Yeah, it was a puzzle in itself.
Great. Lovely. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Much love. Merry Christmas to y'all, and see you next year if we're not blown up.
We have Villagen 6 has been very persistent with this question, so we better answer it. Why was AMBX included in BS4? Do you want to explain what that is? Because not everybody knows.
AMBX was a system by Philips, and it had a sort of lighting system. And the funny thing is that I've still got one in my attic, which is why I was thinking about it just the other day. But basically, it looked at the audio that was coming out, and it adjusted the sorry, no, that's not quite right. It looked at the elements of the graphics and I think the audio, and it adjusted the lighting accordingly. And Philips have got some very sophisticated lighting that could change colour, and there were many of these different lights. And what it did was it ultimately tried to create an ambient experience, which is presumably where it's called AMBX. From both an audio and a sonic perspective. Why did we include it? We included it because Philips asked us to. We like the guys, and it just seemed like a good idea. I have no idea whether they still exist or not. I know that they spun out into a separate company. Don't get to hear very much about them these days, so maybe they don't, maybe they do. If they do, then think about maybe looking them up, and if you like the idea, buy a system. I'm sounding like a walking advertisement, aren't I?
A little. Let's see. Okay, so we only have another 10 minutes or so left, guys.
Okay,
so
because
last
I need to do my Christmas joke, of course, that went down so well this morning.
Did I miss this Christmas joke?
Oh, it's very good. It's very good.
Okay, we'll do it at the end.
Okay. It's well worth the wait. So if you're thinking of leaving because you're getting bored, don't. Because there's a great joke coming up. Bye.
Right. So this one is. Can I presume this relates to Broken Sword 5? Can you die in the game?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Really interesting. I've talked at quite some length about the feedback that we got from our backers, from our fans, from people considering backing. And one of the things that people said was that they really liked the jeopardy created by the ability to die. Obviously, we jumped straight back. What we're not going to have is quick time events like we had in Broken Sword 3. So everything you're given a reasonable amount of time. But what I feel quite strongly, and I'm delighted that this was echoed by people, was that the jeopardy actually adds to the drama. You really want to get the sense that you really will die if you don't do something, and that puts pressure on the player.
Sounds good. Did you guys want to join us again? There's been many requests for us to sing the Christmas song, but I think guys, you probably don't want to hear us.
The joke is bad enough. But Joost, you like the joke, don't you?
Yeah, it was awesome. Can't wait to hear it again.
It's even better second time.
Charles, and maybe to an extent Rob as well. I don't know if you guys want to know more from these guys. Do you like how the game Heavy Rain portrayed the genre, and could you ever see yourself doing a game like that in terms of scope?
Yeah, Heavy Rain's a great game. I don't know him very well, but I know David Cage and Guillaume, who are the guys there, who said to me that I shouldn't be writing little adventure games for mobile. I should be writing great big games, adventure games for PlayStation 3. And we both had a few glasses of wine, I have to say, and agreed to disagree in a very amicable form. I think Heavy Rain is magnificent. I think the ambition is extraordinary. I think it's probably flawed in that the requirement to understand the grammar of a joypad means that it sort of breaks away from the traditional adventure genre. I don't think the game could have been produced if it hadn't been a first-party Sony title. I've also said that I think that the way that they deal with the relationship between the audience, without wishing to give you a spoiler, and the protagonist, while it would work in a film, doesn't work in a game, because the relationship that you have, the relationship that a games player has with their character is partly associational. You are that character, and it's partly empathetic, and empathetic is the empathy that you build. In other words, instead of you experience this, the emotional, you share the emotional experience that your character has. In a film, it is purely empathetic, so you can spring surprises. In a game, because you're actually controlling that character, you have a certain associational character, and so I don't think you have the same scope to spring the same surprises. And without wishing to ruin Heavy Rain for those of you who haven't played it, there is a big twist at the end, which I think probably doesn't quite work in the interactive environment. But absolutely hats off, Santa hats off to the guys at Quantic Dreams who came up with something really ambitious, and I really enjoyed playing it. Did you guys play it?
Yeah, I played it.
What did you think?
I quite liked it, but there was too many quick time events for my taste. I like the story and the twists and the emotional thing they tried to convey, but I don't like quick time events.
Rob, you didn't play it?
Another one I've been playing, which is The Walking Dead, of course. I don't know if you guys have played any of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which is also very interesting, because from a story perspective, I think the relationship that Lee, whatever his name is, has with Clementine, the young girl, is a really interesting one. But they very much sacrificed gameplay for story, which is fine, as long as I'm not in any way criticising it. But the story is the gameplay really is very simple QuickTime events, very very simple puzzles. There's no inventory. You pretty much automatically solve puzzles. But that then does really emphasise a very touching and a nice relationship, and the real option to have choices. So I think the Telltale guys have done a great job with that one. But that wasn't really a question, was it?
You answered the previous question, but it kind of led on to that, so that's fine. I guess I'll just pick one last question. Sorry, guys, and then we'll have a Christmas joke from Charles. So this one is about the Order of the Goat membership on the back of panel. What does it do if you tick that box and you say you're a member of the Order of the Goat?
Nina, I think you can probably answer that one better than me.
Oh no, that's not supposed to happen. I actually didn't think this one through, did I? Okay, pressure. So the Order of the Goat, as probably many of you know, was happened overnight when you guys were talking in the comments, the Kickstarter comments, and the next morning when we came back to the office and were reading through the comments, it's like all of a sudden everybody was increasing their pledge by $7.77, and we're like, what's going on, you know? Finding out about the actual the way that you guys were trying to increase the pledge and the commitment that you had to it to bring the goat into the game, which you succeeded at, which is fantastic. That of course, I can't really, it's difficult to describe, but basically everybody here in the office was so thrilled with this idea of the Order of the Goat, and we thought it was really fun and it was funny and it was very, very much fitting with what I think is the spirit of revolution. You know, we love to have fun with this kind of stuff, and it inspired us. So we thought, when you tick on the back of panel that you're a member of the Order of the Goat, we hope to have maybe a little special thing for you, just as a very, very small token. It's not, don't expect anything.
But also
grand.
you can call yourself a member of the Order of the Goat, or indeed a goater, as people call themselves.
Yes, that is the true reward. But we have something very small planned for people that are a member of the Order of the Goat. But we'll reveal that way sooner, way closer to the actual release of the game, and then you guys will know about it. So I hope that answers your question. I do feel bad that I've stolen the last question away, so can we do one more, Charles?
Go on.
Okay, I'll just find one. There was a good one somewhere up here. Oh, will there be any famous places or museums from Paris in the game?
There are lots of famous places. It would be such a spoiler to talk about them, but you know, there are lots of famous places. There are places in London. There are places I can't. Yes, the answer is yes. Around the world. In Paris, we don't go to any. I take and the team takes authenticity really seriously. So you will have seen, for example, that from Tori's artwork that we did in the last update, that you're looking up at Montmartre. You're looking up at Sacré-Cœur, which is the Montmartre area. And the reason that I was keen for that was that because Montmartre is actually the only hill that you've got that could overlook the Eiffel Tower. So we will be, there are other areas which are totally authentic in Paris and will look authentic, but they're not museums, they're not places that actually exist. No, but we go to plenty of other places in other cities and other countries that do.
Will there be sewers in the game?
There won't be sewers, but there will be sewer-like tunnels and passageways. Yes.
Great. Okay, well that's all questions for tonight, guys. If you've got any more questions, just email them to me, nina@revolution.co.uk, or you can send them to info@revolution.co.uk. And I'll add them to the list for the next CodeJam, which will hopefully happen probably toward the end of January, I imagine. But we'll let you guys know. And I guess now it's time for your joke, Charles.
It's not a very good joke.
Oh, really?
But it is Christmassy.
Do you guys know what this joke is?
Okay. So, and the only reason I tell it is because it is a Christmassy joke.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't dare. Okay, so young Luke Skywalker. Young Luke Skywalker. There isn't a pint glass anywhere, is there? You wouldn't just check to see whether there's a pint glass. Young Luke Skywalker is so excited because he's about to have his first Christmas, and of course his dad, Darth, comes along, and they're all sitting round. Don't worry. They're all sitting around the Christmas tree, and Luke is so excited, and he gets his first present, and Darth says, "Luke, it's a remote-controlled helicopter." And Luke opens it up, and it's a remote-controlled helicopter. And he looks at Darth, and he goes, anyway, next one. "Luke, it's a Nintendo Wii video game." And he opens it up, and indeed it is a Nintendo Wii video game. And poor old, to cut a long joke really short, poor old Luke bursts into tears, and he says, "Dad, how did you know?" To which Darth says, "I have felt your presence."
Oh God.
Well, I think it's good. And it's Christmassy. Do you know, she's laughing. Nobody laughed this morning.
Oh, sorry. Well, everybody's saying lol, so I guess that means they're laughing out loud.
Fantastic, great. Okay. So, do you think we should wish everyone a really happy Christmas? We have got, hopefully, quite a few, hopefully we've got 2 or 3 posts before Christmas, haven't we?
Mm.
So the drought of posts, for which I keep apologising and apologise again, the drought that we've had will be remedied over the next few, and we'll look forward to keeping you in touch. I keep saying this, but it's really true. Really appreciate the feedback that you give us. I'm so pleased that Nina likes my joke. I'm really pleased because it's great, isn't it? Isn't it fantastic? So
I'm still funny. It's so funny. Sorry.
So happy Christmas, and have a great time. We'll look forward to doing this all next year.
All right, guys. Have a
Bye.
great Christmas. See ya.
Bye.